Hello everyone, welcome to the Armageddon Championship Series 2023. The show with more kick than an out-of-control drunk donkey on a hot summer's day. We're happy to broadcast live from Berlin. There you see the lovely Brandenburg Gate, and I'm Grandmaster Simon Williams, and I'm here with my good friend, International Master Ivan Koska.
Oh, it's so exciting to be here, Simon, because this is the 6th day of our 4th and final qualifier, the Europe and Africa regional event. And yesterday was a wild one. Anything could have happened. But in the end, it was Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Jordan van Foreest who actually punched their ways to the next round. Let's take a look at yesterday's recap. Day 5 began with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave facing off with the white pieces against Alexander Donchenko. Donchenko handled the middle game very accurately and soon obtained an excellent position. But the ever-resourceful Vachier-Lagrave managed to find a saving resource and draw that game. The second game might have started quietly but became massively complicated. In the time scramble, Donchenko lost his way and allowed Vachier-Lagrave to win the bishop and the game.
The second match of the day saw Vincent Keimer play against Jordan van Foreest in a very highly anticipated game. It was absolute chaos on the board. Jordan played a brilliant first game, getting his preparation in and then playing some crisp attacking tactics to take the victory. In the second game, it looked like Vincent was going to win, but Jordan was so resilient and held on to get a perpetual tech, taking the draw and going through to the next round.
This is Armageddon Championship Series 2023, the ultimate chess showdown of the year. The first 3 tournaments have already finished. The Americas with finalists Wesley So and Sam Shankland. Asia and Oceania with winners Nordebek Abdusattorov and Gukesh. And a special qualifying stage, Women's Week, where Bibisara Asalbaeva and Humpy Kineru showed their best. And this week, our 4th tournament, Europe and Africa Regional Series.
8 of the strongest players compete for a spot in the grand final with a chance to win the Armageddon Championship. All our events are broadcast live from the World Chess Club Berlin on Unter den Linden. This is make or break. Who will make the cut and go through? Don't go anywhere. This is Armageddon. That's right, it is indeed Armageddon, and we are getting to the penultimate day now. We're nearing the end, and look at the players left and look at the players grayed out. All the Germans have been eliminated from this competition, but we still have some great players left there. Yeah, indeed. We have 3 players who are above 2,700. Jan-Christoph Duda and Richard Rapport will be fighting for a spot in the final, whereas Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Jordan van Foreest will be fighting for survival. Anything can happen. Yeah, and also there's a lot of money at stake here that they're playing for, and you can see those lines that the players have crossed, and now they're trying to get over to the next line and into the €8,000 mark. But most importantly, 2 players qualify for the grand final, where there's even more prize money they can win. Yeah. Absolutely, and time to mention our partners, Kaspersky. As a technology and digital privacy company, Kaspersky supports the secure advancement of chess in the digital space and its expansion into online tournaments. A perfect combination of human excellence and strong technology. Let's have a look at the current standings as well, so we can work out where people are based in our friendly bracket. And there's 2 big matches going on. First of all, we start with the elimination battle from the lower bracket. One of these players is going home today, the loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? And the winner goes through to the next round. So that's a big one. Someone's going to be very disappointed there. And obviously the winner's bracket, this is so important at the top there. One of those players, the player who wins the day, is guaranteed a place in the grand final in September. So there's a lot at stake in both matches today.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's take a look at today's juicy pairings. And boy, you are in for a treat, because first up in the lower bracket, we have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Jordan van Foreest facing off against each other. Then we have in the upper bracket, these players are still on 2 lives, Jan-Christophe Duda and Richard Rapport. Oh, let's take a look at the first pair.
Yeah, the first game is the elimination battle, and we have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave versus Jordan van Foreest. The score is 8-3 in Maxime's favour, so he does have a big lead, but I have been watching these two play some bullet chess in the brilliant cocktail bar here in Berlin, and Jordan was doing some crushing in a lot of those games, so he was even getting the better of Maxime. Good friends playing a big battle today.
Yeah, and talking about Maxime, here are some of his stats. Became a grandmaster at 14 years old. That's young. And take a look at that blitz rating, 27.39. That puts him in the top 20 of the world. And talking about the world, he's been the winner of the 2021 World Blitz Championship. And let's hear more about Maxime in his own words.
I'm quite an intuitive player, but at the same time I rely a lot on calculation. I know what I want to achieve, but still every move I cannot prevent myself from calculating once and once more every possibility I can think of. I'm also more practical player, I would say, so I enjoy much more playing on the chessboard than actually doing the studying parts, but of course it's necessary. I think what helps me the most is the resilience. So sometimes I'm down in chess or even in life, but whenever I feel down, I will find the strength to come back and to fight once more.
Maxime, a fantastic player, one of the best simply in the world. And his opponent is a great player as well, the young Jordan van Foreest of the Netherlands. Incredibly creative player, a second to Magnus Carlsen when Magnus was going for the World Championships, and also a previous Dutch chess champion. Comes from a long history, family of Dutch chess players as well. His grandfather, I believe, was Dutch chess champion as well. And Jordan, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I like to play dynamic chess. I like to get complicated games and just fighting chess in general. I don't like to play end games and stuff as much. I want to keep all the pieces on the board, just go for the throat, and just in general, the more complex and complicated position, the more I like it. In life, I guess I'm pretty easygoing and open-minded person. I'm always open to learning new things, and I guess it also helps on the chessboard. So I'm always open to learning new strategies or tactics to outsmart the opponent, and I never stick to one particular set of strategies. Yeah. Maybe naturally I'm more artistic, but I learned to become more scientific and more professional as I became a better chess player, I guess. So, for example, I don't always want to win style points. Now I focus on winning the game rather than winning in style.
Yeah, this one is going to be mouth-watering, and we're less than a minute from the start of play, so let's remind ourselves of the rules. The players will play 2 games of blitz at a time control of 3 minutes plus 2 seconds per move. And if after these 2 games the match is still tied, then everything, and I mean everything, will be decided by
Armageddon. And that's what this show is all about. And that means white gets 5 minutes, black only gets 4 minutes. But the big thing is they don't get any time added on. Now, another very important member of the chess posse here is our brilliant arbiter, Anastasia Sorokina. And if there's any disputes, which I doubt there will be, she'll step in and sort out the players. 10 seconds to go. I'm so excited. Jordan yesterday was phenomenal in the first game, playing some beautiful chess. Maxime hasn't been at his best, but he's probably one of the favourites, the favourite for this tournament. What's going to happen with Maxime having the white pieces here?
Yeah, and take a look at this. Maxime opening with the queen's pawn. I mean, I don't think I've seen this too often from Maxime.
big surprise from Maxime, I agree. I expect he's trying to get Jordan into this opening that Jordan plays all the time. Jordan often fianchettos his dark square bishop here. I don't know if he'd do that here. That'd be a bit peculiar. No, he plays this triangle setup. Look at Black's pawns, like a pyramid there, and it's very hard to break down a pyramid. Just ask those aliens who created them. And now we see Black creating another little pyramid on that side of the board. He's trying to get his dark square bishop fianchettoed over there. I've been watching too much TV, apologise for that. And White simply developing his pieces there. And I expect Black will castle very shortly. White bringing out his bishop into the game.
Yeah, and well, we had a little revisiting of history there, but I mean, this position is very, very tense. I mean, White will be looking at breaking through in the center to expand the power of those bishop pairs, but you know, suddenly there is Jordan who is actually turning convention on its head, and instead he's the one who's initiated the breakthrough, and is going to come at the cost of his pawn structure.
He does. He swaps off a pawn in the middle, and this is quite a brave move from Jordan, because what you don't want to do generally when you're playing against the two bishops, who has the two bishops? White does. You don't want to open up the board, because the bishops flow in open positions. Imagine if you put a sniper in a cave without any light. He wouldn't be able to fire his gun, but when they're in a field with nothing blocking them, like the bishops are, they have great range. But this must be Jordan's idea. He's simply aiming to swap off one of those bishops for his knight, but he also has a pawn in the middle, which is a bit of a weakness there.
It is a bit of a weakness, and White will have a very comfortable position, and you can see Jordan's heart rate already flashing red at 121, and now it's jumped down. But I mean, Maxime will be very happy with his position, because the plan is so elementary. It's simply to trade off all the minor pieces and then pile as much pressure as you can on that very weak pawn in the middle of the board. And there are open lines up for grabs. So, okay, there we're going to see a trade. Big decision. Do you capture the bishop? That's what I would do. But Maxime instead capturing the bishop with the queen, and well, we still get the same position on the board, but perhaps it's slightly different because Black has the opportunity to grab control over the C line.
Yeah, this is a very standard, what we call isolated pawn position, because there's one pawn which is isolated from its friends, that poor lonely pawn in the middle. Let's just spend a moment to shed a tear for it. Okay, moment over. That pawn in the middle is going to be targeted by White's pieces, and they can gang up against it. But if you look at all the other pawns on the board, all the other pawns have protection from their brothers. So this is why White generally should have a nice, stable advantage. Obviously, it's not a big advantage, but at this level, under these supreme players, any edge will be very uncomfortable, and there's no risk as well for White here. White can play this position on, and it's also a position I don't think Jordan will enjoy playing. Jordan's a creative, attacking player. He won't enjoy this, will he?
He certainly won't enjoy this. Okay, yeah, his position, you know, is relatively okay, because after all, it's just one weakness, and as long as he can defend that one weakness with everything he's got, he should be fine. But it is just an exercise in suffering. And like you say, Jordan is a creative player. He thrives in complicated positions. This just feels different. I'm being polite here.
It's uncomfortable, and Jordan trying to exchange off some rooks, and now White can transform his advantage. This is something which world champion, well, actually, let's remember his name, Boris Spassky's opponent, Bobby Fischer. Yeah, that's the one. This is what Bobby Fischer was so good at doing, transferring one advantage to the other. And you see that Black's pawn is not isolated anymore, but now there's another problem. The pawn on the left-hand side and the pawn that captured the rook. Basically, Black's pawns are weaker than White's pawns, and that's a long-term problem. And White now and Black bringing their king into the middle of the board, because in the ending, you need to use your king. This is where the king comes out of his castle and starts playing an important role.
Yeah, it is certainly a showstopper. But one of the important things in this position, especially for white, is his plan is so easy. There you go. He maximizes the placing of his rook. And rook is now targeting 2 pawns. And of course, big threat on the board at some point of actually advancing the B pawn. And that's why we see Jordan go on the defensive. But it's so easy. All white needs to do is step forward with the king to the D4 square. And again, you can make these moves almost at tempo.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this kind of ending many times in professional play, this kind of structure, and it's tough for black.
It is tough, and you almost feel that the black king could be caught in a mating net. Yeah. If you step to the wrong square, Jordan, you might be in trouble.
I'm actually thinking this position could well be a technical loss for black already. And what I mean by that is it's equal material, but there's a big idea which Yovi pointed out, that's pushing the pawn, but white has all the time in the world to advance, make some space, and then break through at some moment. Okay, it's not lost yet, but it's really uncomfortable for black to play. The white king is further up the board. The white rook is much more active. The white pawns are much better. Everything is in white's favour. And this is a very classical way of converting the advantage here that white's doing. White's using the right-hand side of the board, the left-hand side of the board, the middle of the board, trying to get as much as he can from every single area.
Yeah, and here he goes. I mean, the problem is that black almost doesn't have any moves. And here you're going to see white just wait. And the whole thing is that if black has to take a step back with the king, well, then white could be in big, well, I'm not going to say big trouble, that wasn't the word I wanted, just enjoying the position to his heart's content. And here he comes.
He's still got to find the breakthrough, and I think he's going to have to use a pawn break. White, here it is. This is the way to try and win the position. He's now swapping off pawns, but look at that pawn on the right-hand side of the board. The white pawn over there we call the Harry pawn. Harry, the H pawn, and it's 3 squares away from turning into a queen. If the pawn turns into a queen, it's like a fairy tale come true. It will win the game for white. And it's very hard to stop that pawn. The white king, also very good. King can march forwards at the same time. Black's king cut off as well.
And
looks grim.
It does look grim. And Jordan's going to have to do it with less than 20 seconds on the clock, and also at a heart rate of 133. And Maxim's king is now grabbing pawns. And like you say, Simon, it's just going to be all about advancing those pawns. And oh, nice move from Maxime, preserving the e-pawn, and 17 seconds for the Dutchman. And this position is looking shaky. Uh-oh, here comes Harry.
Here comes Harry. And I think shaky is an understatement. This position, look at the evaluation bar, it's just showing white. Black's only chance is to get the rook behind that white pawn, but as well as being a brilliant tactician, Maxime is an endgame specialist. He's a great player all round, and the thing is, the white king is now going to march over and help Harry. On its way, it's going to take a pawn. White has 2 extra pawns, and he has the extra time. Everything, absolutely everything, is bad for black. Black is just lost here. His last chance is that pawn, but the white rook will safely be able to deal with that pawn, and the white rook now takes that pawn, and we have a simplification. But the problem here is, it's game over. Just 2 pawns too many. 2 pawns too many. In the end, it was elementary for Maxime. And there you see he takes the first point. Jordan van Foreest on the brink of leaving the competition. He is now in a must-win situation. But it was a very easy game for Maxime. I just think it was a poor choice of opening from Jordan. Yeah, I think a great choice of opening from Maxime, because he surprised Jordan with the queen's pawn on move 1. Obviously, both players know this opening very well, but you must smell a rat when you've prepared for your opponent and he suddenly does something a bit weird at the start. You've got to be like, yeah, the Frenchman, he's setting me a trap. You know, must play out of this. Terrible accent there. Apologies. Don't even know what that is. What was that? I'm not sure. Simon, yeah, very bad. And we go into the middle game here, Jovanka, and it's just this pawn in the middle. It's weak. And they're playing for 2 results here, really. There's no way black can ever win this position.
Yeah, and there you see Maxime playing perfectly here.
It was actually a brilliant demonstration from Maxime, wasn't it? How to convert a small advantage. I mean, he kind of played like a perfect game of chess there. That's like Maxime at his best, really, isn't it? Just trying to convert small edges, and this was the breakthrough that won the game. He took that pawn, and even though it's equal pawns, the white pawn is so far up the board and the white king is so active there, there was nothing that black could do.
Exactly, and if you take a look at the positions at the end, you know, you'll understand that in the endgame, it's all about teamwork, making the dream work. Look how the king is joining in the forces, and Maxime just making it look easy, cutting the black king off, and Jordan saying, okay, that's it, my position is hopeless, I will resign. And well, we are less than 1 minute from the start of the second game, and Jordan van Foreest will be playing in a must-win situation. He does have the white pieces, he is incredibly dangerous.
He is. And the good thing about Jordan with white is he's an absolute lunatic. The guy is a loony. He's like a drunk machine gunner with the white pieces. He just... You don't know where he's going to fire, and he's so dangerous with the white pieces. He can create magic on the board. He can create some fire, as he did yesterday, and he needs to bring it now in this game. If there's ever a game he needs to make complicated, it's this one here. He must win with the white pieces, otherwise Maxime, who just played a beautiful technical game there, will go through to the next round. So 5 seconds from the start, and what will Jordan bring?
Yeah, I'm dying to see. He should maybe be opening with the king's pawn, and he does. And what will Maxime play? Or are we gonna see Maxime stick to his trusted knight off? And well, we'll find out. And there we see Jordan advance a pawn in the middle of the board, and now his knight is in the center.
Yeah, this is a more positional line from Jordan. I don't know if I totally approve of what Jordan's doing. Jordan likes playing lots of rather unusual ideas, but he could have taken on Maxime in a very attacking mainline Sicilian, which is a different opening, but it is very aggressive. This is not a bad idea, but it's a bit slower, and you can't play slowly at the moment. Maybe you can. Let's see. The white knight, very nice in the center. White does seem to have a slightly better position, but black, solid. Doesn't have any weaknesses. Yeah,
black is certainly solid, especially when it comes to his pawn structure. You know, all of the pawns are friends, but he does have one problematic piece, and that's that light squared bishop sitting in its home square. If Maxime can get that one out into the game, then I think most of his problems will be solved, and that's why you see Maxime just getting ready to develop that bishop. And look at that, the bishop is out.
That's right, so black is trying to get rid of his problem piece. Maybe a little bit easier for white to play. White's knights are a bit more active, and this looks like quite an annoying move because black's probably going to have to move his rook again, losing time here. So slightly better for white, and the good thing is not many pieces have been exchanged, but I don't see many problems for black either here.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it is a question of timing. Can Jordan use his lead in development and his advantage in space just to whip up some pressure? So this could be simply playing in the center, controlling that, or maybe he can actually take an eye and have a look at the wings there on the right side. And whoa, Maxime going for tactical solutions, and instead of retreating the rook or moving it somewhere, he goes for the counterattack.
Yeah, this is a typical Maxime. He mentioned in his kind of little interview at the start that he loves playing tactics, and he's always calculating. And often, because he's like a computer, he's got an amazing mind, and this is why he's one of the best players in the world. He can often calculate his way out of trouble. Jordan, I don't know, is he thinking about capturing this pawn? He doesn't capture it. He believes Maxime, I think, wise, and he pins the knight with his bishop. I think that the one chance Jordan has is to use these light squares in the center of the board. They look a little bit weak. Maybe he can get his knights into those light squares. But again, black has more space. Black doesn't have any serious problems as of yet.
No, certainly not. I mean, like you say, he does have one vulnerability, that d5 square in the middle, but that is something that can be easily monitored, and Jordan has to find a way to put pressure on black's position. He has to initiate something, and so he decides to centralize a rook. Wasn't sure about that one, because I'm kind of a big fan of pushing pawns, but okay, it's a matter of taste.
And Jordan's heart rate, of course, is higher than Maxime's, and Maxime now kicking that bishop away. I think this is a good exchange here, because you want to take those light squares, and he is now trying to take that light square in the middle of the board. Both of the white knights, where are they pointing? They're pointing to the square in the middle, and positionally wise, if white can secure a knight there and put a pawn to back it up, he could be doing very well, actually. And I think we're going to see this happen. Now the pawn secures the knight. This is very clever positional play from Jordan. I really like this. We saw him play tactical yesterday. He's playing in a nice positional way. Look at that knight. It's dominating like an octopus.
It is, but I suspect that Maxime will not allow that tonight to sit there. He will try to get counterplay of his own, and one of the moves that you just saw is that he is getting ready to break in the center by releasing the dark squared bishop. But both sides actually trying to fight a big battle there in the center, and it is Maxime who initiates play on the wings.
Yeah, it's only one good piece that white's got, so black's got to play around that knight. There's not really any way you can get rid of that knight. The only way you could get rid of it is to give up your rook for the knight, but that's always going to cost you points. So you might just have to play on other areas of the board, and we see more exchanges happening now. That knight still secure. Now the bishop has a little bit more room, but another thing I think could be a problem for Maxime is his king. The black king, to me, looks very exposed. You might be thinking, why is that? There's more pawns around it, but it's easier for the black queen to come in. It's easier for the black knight to come in. That rook on the left-hand side can come in as well.
She's coming in right now. And, of course, black cannot let that queen sniff around the king too long. I mean, that bishop will have to retreat and attack that queen away. So Maxime's position is a little bit smelly, I have to say. And what is Maxime going to do? Is he going to let that queen stay there? No.
Well,
that's risky.
I think he had to stop the white rook coming in, and now white is trying to get his other rook around, so he does kick it away, quite wise. And now white deciding to keep queens on the board here. A little idea. Now the white rooks are trying to come in on the left-hand side. A flanking action here. Big threat in the position. If the white rook goes up one square, and it goes up two squares.
Yeah, but Maxime is also setting the traps as well. He's planning to trap the white queen by attacking the bishop. So it's going to be interesting. And 37 seconds. And ticking down for Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Yes, and 30 seconds to go, and this is getting very tough for Maxime. We might have an Armageddon in this match because the white pieces just look so much better. It's not just the white knight, it's the white rooks and the white queen. Black is very passive, and his time is ticking. 15 seconds to go. 13, 12... Maxime,
10.
You got to move.
He tucks his king away, but
look at the bar.
Did you see the bar? It shot up, and it's just saying white is winning. But what is the winning blow? I mean, is it something simple like rook coming to give a check?
This is a brilliant move.
Oh, nice one.
I don't know if it's the best move, but it looked pretty brilliant because now the white rook gets the 7th rank, and look how passive black is. Black is trying to defend with everything. The knight shoots over, and I can't see black defending this. 3 pieces is normally the ideal amount to win. Will Maxime lose on time?
Oh, he has.
Does again.
He has lost on time. Yeah.
Oof. Armageddon!
Oh, and there we see the final score in the match. 1-1 basically, and that means Armageddon. But I have to say, Jordan played incredibly well. It was what we expected to see from him. He just played creative chess, and somehow Maxime lost his way.
Totally agree. I have to say the two games today were both fantastic. I mean, the standard, the quality of the games was really high. First of all, MVL dominating the first game, but in this game, I have to say Jordan playing this brilliant positional idea on those light squares in the center of the board. And it was that white knight that really won the game for Jordan. As soon as he got his other pieces active, Black's position crumbled. Black's king was a bit too weak. So I totally agree with you. Just really good game for Jordan. When the pressure's on, that's when champions rise up. And Jordan had to win that game, and he played like a champion to come through. I don't think I'd be that calm under that deal of pressure there. So well done, Jordan. And that gives us an Armageddon match, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, quite exciting.
Quite exciting, old boy.
Buckle up, folks, because we're in for a ride. And here we see Jordan at his finest. He doesn't go for the complications. He just goes for simple stuff. And now he has his eyes on the G6 pawn. And this is such a difficult position for Maxime, and he has too little time to navigate anything. And there you go. He loses on time. And that is not a good sign, because time is the name of the game in Armageddon. White will have 5 minutes on the clock. Black will only have 4. They won't get any increments at all. But White is in a must-win situation. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious.
It's going to be Armageddon.
It is.
And yeah, it's going to be really exciting. And that means we're only 30 seconds away. Just to remind you one more time of the rules, I love it when it goes dark in the studio with that red Armageddon sign. Maybe we should both get that tattooed on our back, a bit of Armageddon. You game?
Yeah, yeah.
No, okay, maybe not. Quite a bad idea, generally, actually. It's beautiful artwork, but, you know, maybe not that beautiful to be tattooed on my back.
Well, there we see the players in darkness, and now the screen is turning red, and it's going to be lights, camera, action. Let's go.
And so Jordan has to win this game. So just to remind everyone of the situation, White, will he play the same opening as he did before? It looks like he wants a repeat, but no, Maxime's not allowing that by changing his move order. And we now get a Sicilian, but we get the classical Sicilian here. And let's just remember, okay, White has to win this one. He starts with more time, White, 5 minutes versus 4. That's the big thing. If Black draws, or if Black manages to win, Black goes through. But remember, they don't get any added time, so the clock doubles in importance. We have what we call a classical Sicilian here, Yovi, and this is very sharp and exciting stuff.
It is, and it's actually Maxime's second opening. I mean, he normally plays the knight off, but when he's trying to hide his opening prep there, he goes for this classical variation. So Maxime knowing exactly what to do, and Jordan, of course, will be bringing his creative juices, opening his toolbox, and unleashing his arsenal of weapons.
Well, we see a potential sacrifice here, I think, because, okay, White now can go queen takes pawn, 2 squares in front of it. I believe this is Maxime's preparation still, because Maxime can then damage the structure. He hasn't done this. He's decided to keep the queens on the board, maybe thinking he needs the queen in order to win this one. And the knight jumps into a very juicy square. Black has to get rid of that knight. The white pawn, is it strong? Is it weak? I'm not sure at the moment. And I feel this position should be okay for Black, actually, because now the Black king finds itself a home. But White has some assets here. Maybe that pawn in the middle is his biggest asset in the position.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that he will be playing with. But also, the kings are opposite sides of the board. And if the queens do remain on the board, it does mean that whoever opens those lines will actually initiate a big attack. And, well, Maxime is very insistent. Would you like to trade, queens?
It's a good idea to exchange queens when you only need a draw as well, because you get nearer to a draw in the ending. You take a lot of sting out of the position. I think Maxime is doing fine here. He seems to have everything defended. Jordan's got to attack, and he pushes Harry, the H-pawn, up the board to do so. Black just centralizes the queen, and here it comes. Here comes Gary, and he wants to open up the Black king. This is wise, but Black's pieces are also playing a very important role. That is a very interesting move there. I would never play such a move. Looks like it could be pinned, but it's a typical active move from Maxime Vachier-Lagrave there.
Yeah, it certainly is. But still, both sides are going to be concentrating on their attacks. Black will focus on the C2 point, whereas White will eventually want to open up the G line, as Simon has indicated. And, well, Maxime instead deciding to go pawn hunting. I didn't think about this one, but it is an obvious plan when you think about it. Grab that far advanced pawn.
Yeah, Maxime, a very sharp player. He's not going for a boring draw at all in this game, and this is the best way to play. You've got to, in these situations, play in a very active, and you've got to play the most active moves, even if they look scary. But doing scary things in life is often the way forwards, I feel. Another little lesson that chess teaches you there. Not always. Got to be a bit careful occasionally.
I'm gonna rename you Sensei Williams.
Sensei Simon.
Exactly.
And his chess words of advice. Yeah, I mean, of course, I might be talking rubbish, but I'm trying. And White now has some interesting ideas. Does White pin the bishop, but there is a back rank problem, or does he open up the right hand side by pushing a pawn? Jordan's heart rate pretty high. Does he move the bishop to increase the power? I don't know what he does. Okay, he pins the bishop.
I think pinning is a good idea, and now I think you should perhaps swap off rooks and then pin the bishop. What is Jordan going to do? And
wow.
Interestingly enough, I mean, take a look at the time. Maxime started with 1 minute less on the clock, but it's Jordan who is down on the clock. I don't like what Jordan's just done. It's an admission of defeat.
Look at the evaluation bar as well. The evaluation bar is suddenly saying Black has a sizable advantage here. And the problem is, this move, it might be, just supporting that bishop. And that Black bishop is now stable in the middle. And Black is a pawn up, and Black is time up. So it's looking really positive for Black at the moment. And I don't know how White can do this. White gives his king a little bit of breathing space there.
You can take the... Can you take the bishop? Rook takes bishop, and then...
Don't think so.
No.
Not quite. Very close. I'm a bit too slow to work out these tactics. I don't think Black playing rook takes bishop works, but...
Well, it's in the air.
It's in the air.
It's certainly in the air. Okay, now it's definitely a threat. Black is actually going to go rook takes bishop and win material. So that's something that Jordan has to factor in. He has just under 1 minute and 40 seconds on the clock, and he has to find a way to keep the game going. To my eyes, he just needs to keep the bishop on the board, give a check, and hope for the best. Watch and pray.
Yeah, I would also keep pieces on the board here, because Black's a safe pawn up. You've got to win. You've got to keep the position complicated. So keeping pieces on the board keeps some chances alive. Okay, he's gone for exchanges, and this doesn't just exchange the bishops. Black grabs another pawn there, and now White is 2 pawns down. If anyone can create complications, though, it is the young Dutchman, Jordan van Foreest, because he loves complicating the position, going for tactics, and he's trying his best. But if Maxime keeps his cool, he will go through to the next round.
There are some tricks. I think there was some rook takes pawn perhaps in the air, but okay. Big threat of the board of checkmate, but Jordan does see that, and now he concentrates on protecting all his pieces. This is good strategy.
And now White has to find some way in. Okay, he's trying to get his queen into position, but Black is trying to exchange queens. Good tactic, because you are basically 2 pawns up, and he's exchanging rooks off. This is getting worse for Jordan, because, oh no, his king is so weak here. Is this king going to survive? Seriously?
No way. I mean, for starters, all Maxime needs to do is trade off rooks, and now the king is going walkabout.
Kingy.
Is not looking good. Look, there you go. And then the king has to go up to the 6th row, and
And you know what? The king is not a dog. It doesn't like walkies. It doesn't like walkies when there's queens on the board, and Black has won White's queen. Jordan realizes he's out, but a very gentleman handshake and a smile there between the two friends. Even though he must be in pain inside, he is a gentleman, and Maxime through with that Armageddon win.
Yeah, and in the end, Maxime just showing his blitz class. And what an exciting game. Jordan going for the aggressive attack, but it didn't quite work out.
No, Maxime just calculated a bit better in the middle part of the game, and this is why Maxime is such a champion, because he can crunch. He's, again, like being called a bit of a computer with his crunching, because his calculating like an X amount of moves ahead, and the tree of variations. It's not just one line of moves. You have to calculate that tree, ever-expanding bunch of moves. He's one of the best in the world, if not the best, and he did that around here. He took a dangerous pawn, and also he played bravely. He didn't have to play as bravely as he did, because it was risky what he did, and fortune does favour the brave, that famous saying, and it did for Maxime there.
Yeah, it certainly did, and everything worked out. And in an ideal world, I mean, the best thing that Jordan would do would be trade rooks, but because he's in a must-win situation, his king took a leap of faith, and obviously that was not going to be a big success when a king has to go on a walkabout.
Yeah, walkabout, and you don't really want to walk your king, do a Crocodile Dundee when there's queens on the board. It's not a good idea, and we see the white queen getting knocked off there, and black is just a queen up, but not just that, the white king is still getting slaughtered in that position. So a very impressive win there for Maxime, who kept his nerve under great pressure there, and it was a very exciting match all round. I think good quality chess. High quality.
Yeah, and we're probably going to go to Sonia, who has an interview with Jordan.
I'm here with Jordan. Tough match. Armageddon. How do you feel?
A little bit disappointing, but I don't think I really had any chances in the Armageddon, so I guess it is what it is. I guess I played a good second game, but overall he played better chess, so it happens.
Can you tell us something about the key moments of the game?
The Armageddon, at some point he played rook to d8, and I didn't see how to, everything seemed pinned, but I didn't see a way to make use of the pin, so I guess he's just doing well there. And after that I didn't really have any chance once he took my d6 pawn.
And the other two games, any key moments?
In the first game he just played a really nice technical game, and I think I kind of did the same in the second game, so we just basically exchanged wins there in, I think, both good games, so no crazy moments there, but we both played a good game with the white pieces.
At some point he made e5 in the second game. Couldn't you capture this pawn?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I got a little bit confused, and then I was like, okay, it's blitz, let's just follow my intuition, because if I'm wrong about it I might lose the game, or I might not get a chance at all, and I thought at least in this way, even if it's not maybe the absolute best move, at least the game goes on, and I just can't afford a mistake at that point.
Okay, the tournament is over for you. What's next?
I guess I'm flying to Norway tomorrow.
Alright, any tournament?
No, just a training camp.
Okay, thank you so much and best of luck. We go back to the studio with Simon and Jovanka.
Thank you, Sonia, and we're here with Maxime, who's just beaten Jordan van Foreest. So congratulations on qualifying to the next stage, and talk us through that match.
It was actually a very nice match, I thought. So first game was very, slow game, got into some endgame classic. I remember, I don't remember who won this exact endgame, but with this pawn structure. But I did more or less what was required with the final breakthrough.
It looked easy for you, to be honest.
It looked brilliant, technical, just everything went very smoothly.
It was not completely, I felt there were a few moments where I could have been more precise, but just with this rook on a6, everything's under control, and it was nice situation on the king side where I managed to just get those pawns rolling. So second game was actually a very good game by Jordan. I felt I had done the most I could from my position, and probably I should just have waited, but b5 was tempting me, and somehow I thought this e4 would give me something with my bishop suddenly coming back to life, but turns out it just gave the squares for his knight and his queen, and then the a file, and everywhere I looked, it looked very, very gloomy. So I had to resign that one. I even lost on time. Then third game, of course I was not going to repeat, so I went for a brother, and it went actually very well. There was this nice tactical shot in the middle game where I just could give the bishop on e4 just because of back rank mate. It seemed like it works, but okay, could easily have not. So
it seemed like you played the Armageddon quite bravely, because you could have gone a bit more passive, but playing the classical Sicilian, very dangerous opening, playing tactically, it worked well, the brave approach.
I think playing passively may not be the best idea, because first you need white to be concerned about some sort of force draws, so then he has to spend more time. And if you play passively, you can just increase pressure little by little, not spend much time, and then flag you. So I think, my strategy when going for black, because I actually asked for black, which, not many people seem to like at the moment, but I thought I should just play active and, comes whatever may, but at least I made him think, and I actually ended up quite a lot right on time.
Yeah, exactly. You had more time. And if we were to look at the heart rates, we can also see you stayed calmer as well, with 137 being your highest. You actually burnt a lot more calories than normal as well. Because normally people are burning like 40 calories, but because of your
there
third
were 3
game.
games,
Yeah.
So 20 calories per game. At least we get a number.
This is something, yeah?
Yes.
Half a chocolate bar.
Half a chocolate bar. Is that right? Very low-fat chocolate bar.
No, 60 calories sadly is...
Yeah,
not much, yeah.
Kind of chocolate bar I should start eating.
And let's take a look at the bracket. So you will now face the loser in the match between Jan-Krzysztof Duda and Richard Rapport. So naturally, you've played both these players quite a lot of games.
I'll just be enjoying watching them fight, and I don't have a favorite in mind.
You don't have...
You've done
know that I've eliminated the one player I picked to win the series.
And you can relax a bit now, at least.
Yeah, and I know next match is actually very important, because the first 2 spots do go to the finals, so it's more important to win the first match tomorrow, get to the finals, and then if I do win, then I need to win twice more. So I know it's a bit of an ordeal. But
But you're still in with a chip and a chair.
Exactly.
So you've got a chance, which is all you can do. And thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy your evening
Simon.
now.
Thank you, Alanka.
Thank you, and congratulations. And time to mention our partner, the FIDE Online Arena, which hosts rated tournaments and games 24 hours per day. Join the arena and you'll get a FIDE ID, profile on FIDE.com, and access to Pro Chess Community official online ratings and titles, all recognized by the International Chess Federation, prize money tournaments, and so much more. So play official games at chessarena.com.
And we're coming to our second match now, and this is, we can call it the winner's bracket, because both of these players have been playing fantastic chess, and we have Jan-Krzysztof Duda versus Richard Rapport, and this has been a rivalry because they're similar ages, which has been going on for some 10 years, and so far the score is 7 games, 7 wins to 5 wins towards Duda, so a very close score, and it could go either way, this one.
It certainly could, and let's take a look at Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Just 25 years old, became a grandmaster at 15, and his blitz rating puts him in the top 10 of the world, 2783. He won the 2021 World Cup, and as a consequence won the Polish Gold Cross of Merit. And let's hear more from Jan-Krzysztof Duda himself.
Sometimes I'm very aggressive, but sometimes not that much. I mean, it's related to my mood and to the situation on the board. I often don't understand my way of thinking, and I think it's great because if I can't get it, then nobody else can. I think I'm very stubborn while playing chess. In general, I have a very strong sense of rivalry in basically anything I do. You know, even if I play, I don't know, tennis or like whatever game, then I always want to win. And I think it's like my big practical skill is the biggest one in chess. And I'm also kind of lucky. It's actually a very good thing for me that I'm only good in chess, you know. Because if you are good in many things, then you struggle. Like you don't know what you want to do. But if you are good in only one thing, as I am, it's a very easy choice.
Yeah, a fantastic player is Duda, and his opponent is also a fantastic player, and it's Ricard Report. And Ricard, grandmaster at 13 years old, and just recently he was the second for the current world champion, Ding Liren, at the World Championship. Second mean he was the guy who helped him become the world champion. And Ricard, could you please put on your sunglasses and your cool jacket and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I am reasonably happy, and I believe, okay, maybe it sounds bad, but usually I'm quite unhappy when I'm playing tournaments, and I'm quite happy when I'm home. So I believe I'm balancing it quite well. Chess is kind of a mini model of life in many ways. You need to make decisions in life, you know, and chess is a game of decisions. Chess is also a game of arguments, as if, you know, if I have a plan, I have an idea of something, and then I'm trying to convince my opponent that this is a good idea. And he might say, okay, I don't believe you, so you can finish your plan, or he might try to prevent my plan. The only thing which I really appreciate about being a professional chess player is that I don't have, you know, this 9-to-5 jobs and such commitments. Unless I'm on tournaments, I have the freedom to organize my schedule however I please, so that I'm always free to, you know, find my own.
Yeah, Ricard, definitely a maverick in the chess world, and he is up against Jan Krzysztof Duda, otherwise known as Polish Fighter. He wants to win every single game, and we are less than 45 seconds from the start of this very important match, because whoever wins this gets themselves a guaranteed 8,000 euros, but even more importantly, a spot in the September grand finale. And there we have the players.
Yeah, it's a big, big match. As Ivanka just said, the winner of this gets one of the 2 spots guaranteed in the September final. And that's a big thing to go for. So we see the dude with the white pieces there, Duda, and Ricard has the disadvantage in the first game of having the black pieces, but anything is possible now. And I wonder what their heart rates are going to be. We've seen Ricard's get very high in previous matches, and they are off. And we have Duda start with d4, and Ricard sticking to the opening which he was playing in his other matches, which is a very risky opening, but he doesn't mind taking risks, Ricard. On the other hand, White playing a London system and now gaining space on the left-hand side of the board. And this is quite a unique way to start the game.
It is certainly a unique way, and talking about unique responses, there we see Ricard just move his knight to the edge of the board, but it has a purpose. It is attacking the bishop. That bishop can either step forward and provoke black to kick it away again, or it can go back all the way to its hometown.
That's right, and I wouldn't expect anything else from Ricard. A bit of a maverick move there. The Black Knights are doing a very funny job of moving around. Look at the bishop. It goes all the way home, and Ricard moves his knight back and says, do you want to draw? Do you want to repeat the position? And I don't think we're going to see a draw here, because that'd be a waste of the white pieces. But I kind of like that simple idea. And now we move. It's a very weird move order. We now go into the standard, well, I call it a black line, but it's also, I keep forgetting the name of it.
Philidor, right?
Philidor, that's the one. Named after the famous chess player, Philidor, funnily enough. And this is standard stuff. White's considered to be slightly better here, but black has a very nice solid position as well. Very hard to break down, and this h6 move is a normal idea. I think Jabava has played this. The black knight can even sometimes go behind that pawn. But white has this space advantage. Black's pieces are a bit more cramped. Look at black's light square bishop. It's trapped in. Another standard move, black gaining more space. and we see both players just making natural moves at this moment. Still in the opening.
Definitely still in the opening, and what is very interesting is that both sides just waiting and watching for someone to take a decision. And well, it is Richard who blinked first, and now he's traded pawns in the middle of the board. And big decision for Duda, and that's why he's taken a pause. Is he going to capture with the knight, or is he going to recapture with the queen? And he says, whoa, ho, ho, queens belong in the middle of the board. So he steps up, and now another big decision on the board. Is he gonna take knights and grab that pawn? And Duda saying, no, let me step back with the bishop.
It's really interesting the way Richard is playing. Again, we mentioned he's a maverick. The opening he's playing is a very rare beast in competitive chess. Not many grandmasters play this as black, and I love to see experts bring new ideas to old openings, and he's used this so far to cause a lot of damage to his opponents, and it seems like a little bit better for white still. I have to say this because white has more space, and I like having space, but black is so solid. Black has also a lot of little breaks here, Ivanka. Those pawns can push in the middle at the right moment.
Exactly, and one of the problems that white has is that it's not easy to find a plan of improvement, okay? And there we see Duda just expanding there on the left side of the board. But that comes at big consequence, because once black actually gets that breakthrough in the center, then suddenly black's pieces have a lot of purpose. And there we see Richard doing very natural things again, getting ready to connect the two rooks.
Yeah, the one problem I think black has is he can't really bring his rook on the left-hand side ever into the game, because the pawn in front of black's rook on the left-hand side is aimed at by two of white's pieces, the queen and the bishop. And Duda just continues to gain space by pushing his pawn over there. So again, this extra space should make it easier for white to play. But also the clock times, wow. Duda tanked, spent a lot of time getting to this position. Richard continues to develop. Maybe he wants to push his pawn in the center on the next move. That could be a nice aggressive idea, or maybe even the one next to it. It's a very flexible position, and I think that kind of favors Richard, because he's this imaginative player who has brilliant ideas. And okay, but white continues advancing over there, trying to create some holes for his pieces.
And well, your plan is in operation. First he attacks the queen, and now is he gonna break in the center? No, he's gonna lock down the goings on the left side and instead focus on the center. And Duda saying, you know what, I want none of that. And he plonks that knight in the middle of the board. And big decision for Richard. He's got to capture that knight. How's he going to do it? And he does it with his own knight.
I thought he might take with a bishop there.
I also thought that too.
Because this does keep the two bishops, but is this bishop good here? Duda getting shorter time now. Duda still has this space advantage and a little bit of a preferable position, but not anything that sizable. Richard has kept it very solid, got it to 150, and that bishop of blacks is sneaking its way in the game. Duda, you've got to move, my man. He does. He makes a move. Look at those pawns. They look a bit scary, but there's no breakthroughs, and they've just got to speed up. Pretty even, I'd say, so far.
I think it is pretty even, but again, black has a simple plan. It's just to double up on the only open lane in the position. And there you see Richard just making very fast moves. And again, he's formed a battery with the queen and bishop, and he's targeting the h-pawn. And, well, Duda trading rooks. He has to be careful, because one of the weaknesses when you don't have too much time is to simplify the position. And, Richard's pieces really immobilizing themselves.
Yeah, very nice play from black, because they were very cramped, but both of the black bishops have snuck into the position.
Duda, don't take your time. You don't have that luxury.
I think Richard's playing fantastically in this game. His pieces are getting better and better, and it is white's pawns who look a little bit more weak to me. When you're trying to find a pawn to attack, you want to attack the pawn at the base of the structure, and there might be a tactic here, because look at the evaluation bar. It's jumped up in black's favor. I wonder what the tactic is. I thought it might be this simple move, and then start targeting those pawns, get the queen in on the next move, because the white pawns, they look really weak to me. Something like this could be just a nice positional way to play. Richard's heart rate very high. Duda, 6 seconds. 5,
4, 3, 2.
But now surely the bishop can attack the queen and just win the pawn.
And that triangle of pawn, that's not even a triangle, that is like some reverse tick. I don't know. There's no words for it. But yeah, you're right, Simon. They are dropping like flies.
Yeah, and the first pawn is going to drop now. I feel he takes one pawn. The queens get exchanged. So Ricard is on the verge of a very, very powerful victory here, because the other white pawns, they also could drop. I don't know how you save them. They're like a house of cards. Oh, a little cheeky tactic there. Don't take the bishop. I might work, actually. Can you take the bishop?
I don't think you can.
No? Okay. Just defend the pawn. Move your bishop back. Play it simple.
Or just take the pawn. No, he goes for your idea of keeping it solid. That's even better.
Yeah.
Because it nets all the material on the board. And look at that.
Oh, wow.
Like dominoes. Everything is fallen.
They're just dropping, and Black's position is so good. He's 3 pawns up, but there's a lot of pressure on this game, and White just has to try some tactic here. More pieces get exchanged, but the 3 extra pawns on the left-hand side of the board, they can just motor on down and bring them down, and he's getting ready. That bishop supports everything, and Jan Christoph says, I've had enough of this. I'm not enjoying this. I resign.
Yeah.
And brilliant game there from Black.
I have to say, that was a model game from Ricard there. From the opening to the end of the game, I mean, he unraveled and his pieces just uncoiled themselves and they sprung forward and just ate everything in sight. And I got very excited there.
Greedy pieces.
They are greedy. I mean, but what can I say? Exemplary play from Ricard to take an important victory with the black pieces.
Yeah, I totally agree that. I mean, it seemed he does so well with this opening. If you want to learn the Petrov, then have a look at Ricard's games. And it's around about here where he started to take control, because his bishops just weave their way. They're like little wriggly worms. Oh, they do this a lot in Berlin, I hear, in the clubs out there. You know,
all right.
That's my granddad dancing there. And here you can see the queen goes in, and in the next move, I think Ricard brings it in. And this was a really nasty move for White to deal with, because the white pawns are now targeted, and this was a blunder, and Black just started capturing those pawns. That was the problem. And you know, 1 pawn's normally enough to win at this level, but 3 pawns is, well, far too many to get. This is a nice little trick from Duda. He was getting a bit desperate here. You might as well try everything. If you take the bishop, White could probably queen a pawn there, even though I was a little bit unsure of the tactics of that. Maybe you could have done that. I'm just trying to think. Maybe. But anyway, he kept it safe. And around about here, White just can't do anything. This was a nice move. The bishop gets a great square, and Duda just resigns.
And did you see Rapport actually just picked up a queen just to make sure you know what's coming? And talking about knowing what's coming, we know what's coming. It is the second game, and Ricard will begin with the white pieces, and Jan Christoph Duda, well, he has the black pieces and is in a must-win situation if he wants to take the match to Armageddon. And remember, there's so much at stake here. It's not just pride, it is at least 8,000 euros and also a spot in September's grand finale. And we are going to be less than 15 seconds from start of play. What do we expect?
10 seconds to go. Well, I mean, Ricard only needs a draw, and there's a little bit of danger here. You've got to play like Maxime did, and we had him in the studio, and he said when you only need a draw, you should try to play for a win. So as long as Ricard doesn't play too passively, but plays his normal game, let your opponent come onto your sword. Let him fall onto your sword. And what's he going to do here? Oh, well, the first surprise from Duda. This is a very irregular opening, once played by Magnus Carlsen, but it's not got a great reputation. And you can now bring your knight out, or you can even push a pawn in the center of the board. But I like what Duda's doing. Duda's doing a report, and he's mixing things up quickly. I'm sure that Ricard has looked at this opening in his, you know, this is just the kind of opening that Ricard would have had a glance at some point.
Somehow you always feel that Richard knows everything about anything, because, you know, he's such a maverick, such a freestyler, and there you see him retreat the knight, get it ready to move to the c4 or the e4 square, and then something comes into the d6 square.
Yeah, and let's just remind everyone, Duda with the black pieces must win this game to bring it to an Armageddon and keep his dream of, well, just qualifying for the final today. The winner of this match will be the first person to get themselves into La Finale. Some bad French again from me there. I won't try that again. And
keep on going, Simon.
Just, you know, I think...
Oh, okay. And we see that Richard just mobilizes the knight into the center, and I think this was a move that really reflected the situation in the match. He just wants to draw. He wants that simple position.
Yeah, maybe White can castle his king on the left-hand side, queen side next, and then just get his knight right into the guts. So that's why Duda is making sure the knight has to make a decision now. I mean, I have to say, if anything, though, the pawn structure is certainly in Duda's favour, because look at White's pawns on the left-hand side. They are doubled. They've got the traffic jam pawns. One pawn gets in the way of the other. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't mean anything. But at this level, these little things, they make a big difference. And Black's pawns on the right-hand side, if the queens come off, they can be very mobile. And you can get a pass pawn. Pass pawns equal extra queens in the ending. So I'm kind of thinking I'd prefer to be Black here if I was going to pick.
Totally agree with you there, Simon. And just to piggyback off your point, if all the pieces get traded off and it's just a king and pawn ending, Black is winning. And there you can see Duda is now motoring with those pawns there on the right side. Remember, he has an extra pawn there, and so he has the advantage.
Yeah, and White still has nice centralization. He can bring his other rook into the middle now, which I think he'll do. There you go, lining the rook up against Black's king. And this is one advantage of White's position. His pieces are very well structured. The Black king, is it good or is it bad? The king is good in the ending, but it can also be a little bit of an issue. Now you can take the knight and bring your knight into the middle. Isn't that actually quite nice of White? And there's a little tactic here. He's found it, Richard. If the black bishop takes the pawn, there's what we call a fork. The white knight goes to the right-hand side and checks the king and attacks the black rook. That is White's threat. It's called a fork when you attack two pieces with one move, like the prongs of a fork. I think that's the right word, prongs. I don't know, did I just make that up?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It sounded cool. I'll go with it, Simon.
I could be bluffing. Oh, he's gone for it.
He's gone for it.
Wow. Maybe he had to play this to make it complicated.
Yeah, but he can come in with the rook.
I didn't even see this move.
Yeah, I thought this was just too hot to handle. You can't do this. And now Rapport brings in another piece. And just take a look at Black's forces. They are completely disconnected. The white rook is in his seventh heaven. It's in paradise. Oh, my goodness me.
Can I say my favourite word?
Go for it.
Discombobulated. That is one hell of a word. I love it. Black's pieces are discombobulated. What's your favourite word?
Bizarre.
Bizarre.
I think it's weird.
It's weird, yeah. I've heard that a lot in my life. And it does look so good for White now, because Black's pieces are just all they're discombobulated. The Black king is blocking the coordination between Black's rooks. You want to move the Black king and put it somewhere else.
Yep.
But you can't do that. And you come. Checkmate is threatened.
Checkmate is threatened, and you feel like saying, here comes Johnny, just to initiate some pain. I mean, how is Black going to actually defend that pawn? He has to move his rook 2 squares up, but there you go. And look at this. Richard, he is relentless. Just slides the rook to the h7 square.
And look at Duda shaking
his head.
And I think he was expecting the move that I expected, but Richard said, I don't want to win material. I'm going to suffocate you with my pieces. And this has been actually a brilliant day of chess standard-wise. And Richard has been playing very, very good chess, as was Maxime. And Richard can probably smell that he's just one step away from the final now in September. And there's surely a number of good moves here. You just got to be accurate. You don't want to throw the advantage away. Maybe knight takes bishop and just double your rooks. You only need a draw. You don't even need to win this position as white.
Exactly.
So just try to find a way to keep it simple. But you can get nervous and you can make mistakes.
Definitely, I agree with you. Like, for instance, one tempting move, which is probably what the computer would recommend, is actually rook takes bishop. And then you back that up by actually giving another check. But I don't think that's necessary. It's much more straightforward. You're in a situation where draw is good enough. This, beautiful. You can't go wrong.
I can't see any way that black can't get out of a draw here, because what white's threatening to do is just check the black king. And okay, this is the only chance now, but you can still check the black king. Okay, he's kept the rooks. Rooks on the 7th rank, rooks like white's got, are normally devastating. They're just too strong because they stop the black king from ever escaping. They have checkmate ideas. Black is 5 seconds.
3 seconds. Okay, he just pushes his pawn and...
He's going for the draw, this is a brilliant way to get the draw. He doesn't even need to win, and now he can swap the idea to the other side. Very crafty. And obviously, if he needed to win this position, Ricard would be doing something else, but he doesn't need to win, and I don't think black can do anything to escape the draw, so they agree a draw. Brilliant game from Ricard, and Duda not happy with the way he's played today, understandably. Even in that game, he had some chances, but it seemed like Ricard's pieces were too powerful.
Yeah, it just seemed like it wasn't a great day at the office for Duda. And a very important match victory there for Richard Report, who now moves on to the upper bracket final and nets himself a spot in September's grand finale, and also at least 8,000 euros. So very important game win there for Richard.
Yeah, there's 2 spots out of the 8 players from this tournament that go through to the grand final, where the prizes get bigger, the players get harder. And the first person to get that spot is Ricard Report, and he is a bit of a crowd favourite as well, so I expect a lot of people will be happy. But today, he played brilliant chess, thoroughly deserved. He played a great game with black, and that set him up for that victory with the white pieces in the second game. Winning with black in the first game, it's such a big achievement. And here was one of the killing moments. I thought the knight would move, but Jovanka's idea was much, much stronger.
Yeah, and definitely this was the moment where you can see Richard knows it is over and it is going to be in his favour.
The cheeky smile there, knowing that he's through to the final. And a very funny way to get the draw in the end, actually. Quite artistic that black's kings are, I think there's a word for that set up, but they're like the medals on a shoulder.
Epaulettes.
Epaulettes, you know it. Epaulettes,
something like that, yeah.
Weird like that. But very, very good chess there. And I think we're probably going to get an interview with the loser, who's probably not going to be so happy. So let's go over to Sonia and Duda and see that interview.
Okay, I'm here with Jan Christoph. It didn't work out so well. Can you tell us something about the game?
Yeah, I think the crucial was the first game when my opponent actually outprepared me, I would say. I mean, I forgot about this knight h5, knight f6 idea, which is basically, invitation to the fielder, which he's has played a lot of times, even here against Jordan, and I didn't really want to play fielder, but in the end, I decided to go for it anyway because I couldn't see anything better. And then, the position was maybe balanced all the way along, and I was on time because I clearly had spent too much time in the opening. But then, the position was very level. I think if anyone, then perhaps it's me who is slightly better because of this, because I'm more advanced on the queen side. But somehow I allowed him to get very active, and with this bishop e4, queen f5 stuff, I still think it's not very much, but I totally forgot about the bishop c2, and especially after queen a3, queen d3 idea, which which is probably like very good for black, and I couldn't find like a proper follow-up after that, and I basically lost all my pawns on the queen side for free. So it was a very bad game. And in the second one, I tried to win with black, and I think I at some point also got maybe some chances, but perhaps I was it was too good to be true, this g5 stuff, and later especially a6, which is which allowed him to place his knight on e5, and then I was winning this g2 pawn, but still he was extremely active, and he found actually a nice perpetual which I couldn't quite avoid.
Okay, what did you do the last days in Berlin?
Nothing in particular. Basically staying in my room and preparing a little bit, and also watching some movies.
And what will you do to recover for tomorrow?
I don't know. I will. Right now I don't have any idea, and I might say I'm clearly disappointed with my play today, and I will try to find some balance and to quickly forget about these games.
Okay, you're still in the tournament. Best of luck tomorrow. We will go back to the studio to Simon and Jovanka.
Well done to Ricard, who has now banked his place back in Berlin. So congratulations. Whatever happens, you got one of those two spots. That means you come back in September, hopefully. And is that good news?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so.
It's got to be good news. And do you want to talk us through your game? So the first game you won with black, which was incredibly important, in the Philidor, and you're making the Philidor look like a good opening.
Is it not? I don't know.
It is in your hands, I think. And how was that game?
Yeah, it was very strange, right? Because he played, he went for some sort of London, and then, this a4, of course, I don't know what is a4. It's, I guess, perfect normal move, but I've never seen it before. So I figured, this knight h5, make the bishop retreat, basically, and then e5 was very sensible. And then, we transposed back into my game with Jordan, which was a must-win game. So, obviously, I had some, expectations from the opening, let's put it this way. And then, somehow in the middle game, he played very slow, actually, very slowly. And then he went wrong slowly. But, this is the positions, if you give white more time, obviously he will manage to consolidate the structure and be better. But, 3+2 is not, quite enough time, I believe. So at least its practice has shown that it's not ideal. And then I got some chances, and then I just picked up all of his pawns when he was on second switch. Certainly helped.
Well, it just seemed to work out perfectly, because when you actually moved that knight to the edge of the board, he looked quite annoyed with himself, like maybe you had tricked him out of his own preparation.
Yeah, I guess because, obviously if he wanted to go for this, he could have gone e4 for the small, right? I mean, I was not really hiding my intentions there. So, I guess... or like d4, d6, e4, still even a more secured way of getting it. So I guess probably he was aiming to avoid it, and then we were right back into it. But he spent also like 30 seconds trying to figure something out. So it was quite an ideal opening for me, basically.
Yeah.
And let's have a look at your favourite heart rate, shall we? I think is that slightly better than before?
Yeah, very relaxed today. I don't know.
Chill day, 164.
Yeah. No, I today already lost 2 games in the morning. Yeah, so so now I was already very relaxed. Yeah.
That's good. And we can also have a look just at the brackets and just confirm where you are. So you're right. Being on the right-hand side is a good thing. So that's
it
great.
Seems to be the case, yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations. I mean, that's fantastic. And I'm also wondering, you are kind of known, Ricard, for your kind of unconventional play, your sort of imaginative openings. And is that fair to sort of say that you're a very imaginative chess player and you come up with these crazy ideas, or is there another reason?
Yeah, people seem to claim that, yeah. For me, it's very hard to judge, because I feel like I'm trying to play normal and I'm trying to play, principled and whatever, but I always end up playing something, weird or strange, I don't know. So it's from the inside it feels different, yeah, but yeah, I believe so, yeah. Maybe that's why in Blitz, I mean, sometimes when I'm not hanging pieces and getting heart attack at the same time, I can be unpleasant for some opponents, right? Because maybe it's hard to adjust. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but anyway, it seemed to work a treat today, and tomorrow you'll be playing in the grand final, and you'll be coming back in September. So congratulations again, and thank you so much for joining us in the studio.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And the official partner of the Armageddon Championship Series is IT.com Domains, a domain registry like no other. It provides a platform for anyone to create innovative domains and effectively showcase their online presence. So don't miss this opportunity. Visit IT.com today and create your unique online image.
Yeah, another great day of chess today, and I think the standard has stepped up a gear, and this is where the champions are made, of course, in the penultimate day, where the quality just gets better. And we first of all see Maxime just play great chess, and then also Ricard there playing some brilliant ideas as well. So and yeah, what about tomorrow, Ivanka?
Well, tomorrow is our final day in the Europe and Africa regional event, and first up you see that there are 3 players still remaining in the competition. It will be a battle in the lower section between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Jan-Christophe Duda. They will be fighting for that spot against Richard Rapport, and of course remember Richard is on 2 lives, so if one of the players in the lower brackets wants to win, they need to beat Richard twice.
Yeah, that's right. So it's going to be very exciting. So make sure you do join us tomorrow for the last day of this competition, because it's going to end. It's going to be sad, but it's going to be exciting. And I'm just going to say goodbye for myself. And
it's a goodbye from me as well. Same time, same place.